Before we go on to today's topic, I want you to have a quick recap on yesterday's topics. So, what did we see yesterday? Yesterday we saw about moon. So, moon is the brightest object in our night sky and it is the only Earth's natural satellite. And the surface of the moon will not be smooth. It has deep pits called craters. So, what is craters now? Craters are formed in the surface of the moon when it is hit by meteors. So, now tell me what is meteors? So, meteors are small piece of rock that falls from the space. So, those meteors will hit the surface of the moon and the deep pits will form. And this is called as craters. Moon has two areas. One is brightest and darker. So scientists found that the brightest area are of mountains and the darker area is called Maria, which is nothing but seas. And also we have seen phases of moon. So usually it takes 15 days to change from new moon to full moon. So new moon is called, that day is called Amavasya, and when full moon comes, that day is called Paurnami. So these are the topics which we have seen yesterday. So now today we are going to see even more interesting topics. Today we are going to see about tides, how tides are formed. So these are called tides. So now we are going to see how these are formed. Before we see what happens once the tides are formed, now we will see what is a tide. Tide is nothing but the regular rise and fall of sea level on earth due to pull of moon. So what do you understand from this? See, always the sea level will not be same. Sometimes there will be rise in sea level and sometimes there will be fall on sea level. So how it will happen? It will happen because of pull effect of moon. So there are two types of tides here. So one is high tide and the other one is low tide. So first we are going to see about high tide. See, when the moon pulls the sea water, the level of water rises and sea comes to land. Can you understand? I'll repeat it again for you. When the moon pulls the sea water, the level of the water rises and the sea comes towards the land. So this is called as high tide. During high tide times, the sea waves will be very closer to the land and it will be covering all these parts. So, when the sea level rises, the tides will come forward towards the land, and this is called as high tide. On the other hand, when the level of sea water goes down, you can see more land and the water will be seen at back. So this is called as low tide. During high tide, the land area will be minimum and the level of sea will be more. Whereas in low tide, the land area will be more and the sea would have been gone back. So this is called high tide and low tide. It is an interesting topic for you. So this topic is called as spring tide. There is another type of tide which is called as spring tide. Let me explain you how it forms. During full moon day or no moon day, the sun, the moon and the earth will be on straight line. So when all these are in straight line, this gravitational effect will pull the water much higher. So these high tides are called as spring tides. I'll explain you again. When the sun, the moon and the earth is on straight line, the gravitational pull will be more. Because of this effect, the water will be of higher level. So these makes the high tides. So these high tides are called as spring tides. S-P-R-I-N-G, spring tides. T-I-D-E-S, tides. Next, we are going to see